Hello, gorgeous soul, and welcome to this epic podcast. This is a place where you are encouraged and you have absolute freaking permission to unapologetically go after all of your dreams, all of your visions, all of your things on your vision board, like everything that your heart desires. I'm your host, Angharad, the High Vibe Babe, and I believe that we're all in this life to expand and experience our wildest dreams. If one of us can have it, then we all can. So that is the aim of this podcast. Each week I'll either be going solo or have guests with the aim to inspire, uplift you and give you the tools for you to live your most epic AF life and business possible. You can find me on Instagram with the handle @HighVibeBabe. Now let's get into today's episode. What's up, High Vibe Babes? Angharad here, and today I have another juicy, delicious part of a human design reading this week, and this is with Tanya. She is a projector, so if you want to understand yourself being a projector or somebody else in your life who is a projector, this episode is going to be absolutely groundbreaking for you, for your understanding and your implementation into your life with understanding projectors so much more. I cannot wait for you to hear this. So, Tanya, do you just want to tell us a little bit about yourself and what you know about human design and where you'd like to implement human design into your life?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Tanya. I'm a mum of 3, and I run my own business on a couple of streams. And I also have a normal working job as well. And human design first came into my life a couple of years ago, and I heard bits about it because what was happening is I was burning myself out. And I was just sort of looking for why could people work really hard and be up at 3 a.m. and be getting all these things done. And I was really struggling to get everything done in a day because my energy just wasn't there. Mm-hmm. So I, had a look at human design and put in my details into the chart and was like, oh, that actually makes a bit more sense. So what I'd like to do is implement it more into my business, but also how I'm able to integrate it within my work and life as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really cool. So thank you very much for that. So firstly, within your human design, like the most important thing to always understand is always that energy type, which for you is a projector. And the first thing that stands out when you're talking about your life is 1,000% around the fact that you would have been conditioned, just like me, to be a generator, and we're non-energy types. So we just don't have that masculine, like chugging along, let's get it done, let's just work for 12-hour days, or even 8-hour days can be too much for us. So the recommendation is around 4 to 6 hours. So there's 3 different types of projectors, and you're an energy projector because you have a motor defined, which is your root. You're looking at your chart. Can you see your chart?
Yes. Yeah,
cool, sweet. So that very bottom one. So you have the most energy out of all the projectors,
right,
or one of the most types. So you have a higher energy than some of the others, which is to our advantage, being a mum and working and all the things.
Absolutely.
But yeah, the recommendation is around 4 to 6 hours, but that really depends on you, and you really have to feel into your energy. And so the most important thing for you is for you to understand that you aren't a generator, you aren't generating your own power, you have been very conditioned to do these things. And we also take on, if we have little generators in our house, or our husband are generators, or the people around us at our workplace, which we often have because generators are about 60% of the world, generators or manifesting generators, then we actually take on their sacred energy. So that's when we can lead to burnout is when we've been working too much, when we take on everyone else's sacred energy, but we haven't figured out what our energy is and what it really wants us to do.
Right. That makes sense.
And the reason why you need to do that is because you actually need to spend a lot of time relaxing and playing and having fun. And my human design mentor, Amy Alter, she's a projector, and she calls herself like a mermaid. You go and swim in the water, then you go and sunbathe, then you go and swim a bit more and go do a couple of things, and you just sit on the beach.
That sounds like me.
Sounds
like me.
Like literally the people who want to go to Rarotonga and have a holiday, like, and actually sit on the beach, versus generators are like, yeah, cool, let's go to Rarotonga 2 days, and they're like, what the hell am I doing here?
Yeah. My husband's like that. Like that. Yeah.
And we're like, yes, take us to Tahiti where we'll sit
I'll
there
just lie there. Yeah, I'll just lie there, enjoy the sunshine, enjoy reading my book. Yeah, absolutely.
order some food. Yes, bring me the cocktail, please.
Yes,
Thank you very much. Yes, I'll
exactly.
sit right here. Yeah,
Yeah.
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 So in the beginning, it can feel quite challenging when we're like, oh, but this isn't my life, my current life, but just knowing that and then start implementing it into our physical life, and just knowing that this is like literally who we chose to be. This is our soul's energetic DNA. This is what we really like chose to experience in this lifetime. It's not to be work all the time, because the thing with projectors, you guys are incredible, because although you're not designed to work 8 or 12 hour days like a generator, you actually can get 8 or 12 hours work done in your 4 to 6 hours. So you're not losing out. Like, you're still just as productive, but it means that your life gets to be sitting on the beach drinking wine or reading a book, or taking the bubble baths and playing and having fun as well.
It's so interesting you say that, because I've often prided myself on that fact. Like, before I knew about human design, people would be like, well, but you've got everything done. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know what to do now. Like, you want me to sit around at work for the next 4 hours? Like, and it always frustrates me, or it's been something that's frustrated me, because being paid by the hour, which I no longer really have, I'd be like, but I finished all my work in 4 hours. Why are you still not going to pay me for 8? Why do I have to pretend like I'm still working?
Yes.
So yeah, it's really interesting.
Yes, that's exactly right. So what, for your paid work you're doing at the moment, what are you doing? You said you have another job, right?
Yeah, so I work in tertiary tutoring. So I'm a marker. So it means that I get paid per book that I mark.
Sweet.
So that's fantastic per job. And then I work with some students. So I then get paid per student I contact. So everything is based on what I do. So I've started working it more so that I'm just doing what I can at energetic times. But my income hasn't dropped. So finding this has been something that's really helped me see that I'm not weird, because I just really felt like I was lazy. But yeah, learning more about it sort of shows me that I'm not. I'm just effective. Yeah.
Yeah, 1,000%. You're highly effective. And that's an amazing transition. Like, that's a perfect way of still being like in the working world as well as entrepreneurial world, but not like sitting at an office for 8 hours being an office manager or whatever,
Yeah, exactly.
So that's a perfect example of like tweaking and allowing yourself to like be the hugely massive productive person, but still get paid for the same amount,
Yeah, exactly.
So that's really, really beautiful. So the next thing to understand after we understand our aura is definitely our authority and our not self-themed. So your not self-theme is bitterness. So do you experience that a bit in your life, or have you in the past? Do you know much about your not self-theme?
I don't actually know anything about it. I have the feeling if you explain it, I'll probably go, oh, yeah.
Yeah, cool.
But yeah.
Okay, so your not self-theme basically is your guidance to when you're out of alignment within your routine, or within your like soul's purpose, or within just you didn't serve yourself, or you didn't communicate with someone effectively, or you work too much. There's so many areas that it comes into, but basically when you're not aligned with your design type. So yours is bitterness. So it might be like when you've worked so hard and you've done like an extra 5 hours on this project for someone, but then they didn't recognize you and see you for that and thank you for it, then you can get really bitter about it.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That whole not getting recognized for the work I do drives me nuts.
That is a big projector thing, the not being recognized. So for you guys to be recognized, what you have to do is you need to shine and stand in your power and to let yourself be seen and heard. So how it works is your strategy is to wait for an invitation. So this literally, do you know much about that as well?
I've heard little bits about it, but not a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically you like when you are thinking of launching a program, or when you were thinking of applying for a job, or going to someone's house for dinner, or whatever it is, just all of the things in your life, you need to wait for an invitation. Now, it doesn't literally have to be like, hey, can you run this program?
Yeah.
it can be a lot more subtle than like a literal voicing invitation, but you will also get quite a lot of those when you are shining and like sharing your light and really spreading your goodness, right?
Mm-hmm.
I love projectors the most to probably hang out with. The other thing about your aura is that you penetrate other people's auras and you can really see and feel and know them in a deeper level than often they do as well. So you guys honestly make, in my opinion, incredible coaches.
Very good.
So, yes, it's that beautiful power. So with your invitation, yes, they can be energetic invitations as well. Have you been in that situation where you're like talking to a girlfriend and you're talking about like what you're going to make for dinner, and you're both
Yes.
talking about it, and you feel that energetic invitation, like, hey, should we put all that stuff together and like have a potluck and bring our kids and they can jump on the trampoline while we sit there and talk about our lives?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it can be an energetic invitation as well. And then the next thing, which is going to bring it all together, is your authority. So your authority is splenic. So this is how you make your decision. So this is how you connect to like source and your intuition. And splenic authorities are beautiful. I understand this a lot because this is my authority as well. And it's very intuitive and it's very in the moment. So basically when you're thinking about launching a program, for instance, it's in the moment that you'll get the answer. It doesn't really repeat. It's within the moment, as in like a few minutes. It's not like 1 second and it's gone.
Yeah.
But for me, it feels two parts. It feels like an inner body, almost a gut. You have that defined root as well, like I do. So I feel like it almost feels like a gut feeling sometimes, like a yes or a no. And sometimes it expands a bit further. But I also have this, it feels like an outer body knowing.
Yeah.
Have you ever experienced that before? Does it
Yeah, just like a total knowing of what's about or what you need to do.
It's like a download kind of, but without words. It's kind of it's just like this. That's really what it's like for me. So it's like this inner body response, and sometimes my whole body like zings with energy when it's just like something so important. It's like really intense, and then that sort of outer body almost knowing, almost feels like to my left, just like knowing.
And you just
and
want to
understanding.
Go,
And so
no.
for sure, the no's as well is really important to listen to. Hell yes, just as important, if not more important actually. So how your decision making process basically would go is, you might get a download, or just you have an open head center as well. So I do as well. Actually, it's actually quite interesting. Your chart is nearly identical to mine, except I'm a manifestor. So I really resonate with a lot of your open and
awesome.
Defined centers. I just have a defined G center, which you don't, but the rest of our situations are identical, except I have a different channel to be a manifestor. So yes, very exciting. But with an open head center, we can get very, very inspired from other people's content. We can get inspired from other people talking, from seeing things, from graphics, from everything. So with the online business, and because you obviously have one of those as well.
Yes, yeah.
And how that works in with the spleen is, what I really have found very useful is to basically create before I consume, especially in the day when our energy is fresh and we've like done a meditation when we first woke up, or whatever our morning rituals and stuff is. And from there, the things that come in, the downloads or the programs or the decisions or the things we want to go and do, we check in with our spleen. And if it's a yes, then you wait for the invitation. And then once you've got the invitation, then you go and act. And so because of the whole generator masculine work conditioning that we've had in the past, it can be quite difficult to like lean back and trust and be like, whoa, is the invitations actually going to come in, or what's going to happen? And the same thing is for generators. They also need to lean back and wait for the response, whereas they used to like have an energy, let's just go, right? So, but what I've found with all of my clients and the people that I work with, it's absolutely incredible. It's beautiful, because when you align with your energy type, so being a projector, and then your authority, and you're not self-themed, and you speak, you have that defined throat as well. So honestly, speaking is like your gift. You'll almost find that as you speak, sometimes people feel like you're bewitching them. Sometimes it's like, is this wrong? How is this legal? So speaking is 1,000% going to be like really beautiful for you. So as you show up on your lives and do your posts and speak in your normal life, or host programs, or speak to your girlfriends or whatever it is, and share about your goodness and share what you're doing and just really allowing yourself to be seen, the invitations will flood in.
Yeah. It's so funny, isn't it? Because it's such a conditioning of, but I've got to do stuff, because if I don't do stuff, then nothing's going to happen. If I don't take the actions, then it's not going to happen, and all of that. Whereas when it really is just you, just being you and shining your light, as you say, then it enables those things to come to you.
Yeah, for sure. And like a lot of people in the online space, well, I actually am careful about who I follow because of this, but there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there who really are into strategy, and they're like, here's the 3,000 steps, you jump in my program. Have you heard people be like, here's my program, there's going to be heaps of homework, it's going to be every day we do a live, every day we have, and I'm just asking, non-energy types are like, oh, I want to vomit thinking about that.
Absolutely.
It's not like, they just work a different way. Generators really work a much different way, so it's the reason why I prefer to be coached by non-energy types, so by projectors or manifestors or reflectors, purely because I just know they're going to get me a lot more, and they're not going to give me like 3 pages of homework to do. So it's just and also like that like that full scale like sales funnel, like all of these like really masculine courses and entrepreneurs out there, that's cool, that's really amazing for them, but that would never work for me, because I would always feel like I'm forcing, there would always be more to do, there's more email campaigns to do, there's ads to create, there's like so many posts to organize, if you know what I mean. So
absolutely. I actually had an experience of that. A friend of mine basically messaging me over lockdown, asking me how business was going, and I was like, well, actually right now I'm just in a bit of a creative phase, and I'm not pushing or anything like that, and I've pivoted a little. And then she came straight into telling me about, oh, well, you need this guy, he works on funnels, and he'll do wonders for you, and you'll be able to get the money rolling in and all of this. And I was so turned off by it that I could feel my body getting very tight, like my whole body constricted. And I had to send her a message back, and I said, oh, thanks very much for the info, I'll think about it maybe at another time. But that's just her, and I know that's how she rolls. But wow, I've never had such a strong bodily reaction as well as a mental, like, in my head I was going, oh, I don't need this, like this is not what I need right now. So it's interesting that does actually come back to this as well.
Yes, for sure. And what you're explaining, that whole body, that was your spleen going, hell no. That full body zing, like, I'm running away right now.
Yeah, and I feel a lot in my body. Like, I get a lot of not bodily download, it's more like a body feeling. I get a lot of that, and I often know that's my point. I've had a concussion for the past 3 weeks. And my body, I've had to listen to my body again. And it's like, I feel like this is just a lesson that I have to listen.
Yeah, for sure. And I know exactly what you mean about the whole like that. Just as soon as I hear you describe it as well, I'm like, it's like an internal vomit, like, no,
please don't make me.
Then we have this internal battle, because our head's open, we're like, oh, that's a good idea, so maybe it's gonna be.
Yes, and I feel that in kinds of like FOMO. Like I don't so much now, because I'm a lot more sure of myself and what I'm doing. But I know that FOMO was one of those things. I'd be like, oh, but that person's charging that. Oh, but that person's doing this. Oh my gosh, should I be doing this? Am I doing the right thing? And so that's really interesting that's what the open head does, because that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, for sure. That's exactly it. So that's the reason why we come back to our authority, which is our spleen, and we go, what is this saying? What is the feeling in our body? What is the out of body feeling? What's actually decision? So, and it's sort of in the moment ish. It's not like always split second. It can be, a few minutes in my experience, but you can't, say I'll sit on it and then come back to a week later. You get your answer initially, and it's not going to change. That's what it is.
That's so funny.
So yeah, sticking to that and learning to say no is a really big thing for everyone, to be honest, because our intuition most often than not doesn't make logical sense to our head, whether we have an open head center or not. So we have to learn to say no to the things that don't align with us and be brave enough to say yes to things that do.
Yeah. That gives me a lot to think about, particularly I think sort of showing up, like being able to just show up on lives a bit more and things, because that's what I can do.
Yeah, for sure.
That kind of stuff. So
let yourself be seen, let yourself be heard, use that voice, use that throat.
Use the throat.
Yes. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yay. That is amazing. Yay. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. It's been my absolute pleasure.
There's so much in there to look at. My coach was talking about how she'd gone off social media for a while, for a couple of weeks, just to reconnect with what was actually real for her. And so she started creating, in that time as well, so that it felt a little bit more new for her, rather than it was just something she had to do. I don't know her human design, but what was actually true for her rather than what everyone else was saying. And I thought that was so cool. And it's definitely something that I find myself, that part about the open head and the spleen is so spot on. It's crazy, because that's what I do.
For sure. And
that's
the essence of human design. We're like, oh my gosh, you get us, how is this? It's like finding an English speaking person in the middle of Italy, like we're friends automatically. You get me. Let's go for dinner, let's live together, let's like hire bikes together, let's do all the things.
Exactly
because we're speaking the energetic language, so it's like so damn special to bring this to people's lives, because it's impacted mine and everyone else's around me like so significantly. So I'm so excited and happy and so glad you got so many things to take away and integrate and all the things.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
It's my absolute pleasure. Thank you.
And we will talk to you soon.
Yay, we'll do. Take care.
See you.
Bye.
If you have enjoyed this episode, I would adore if you would screenshot it, chuck it up on your stories with your favorite takeaway moment, and tag me at HiVibeBabe on Instagram, so that more people can see this and get this content and get this message out there to really shape and change and impact other people's lives. Do you desire to be around more high vibe women who really get you, who encourage you, who support you no matter what? Yeah, well, guess what? I have a place that you belong. It is called High Vibe Babes Community. It is a free Facebook group, and I would love to have you in there. There are so many free trainings and epicness in this group, so please get your booty in there. It would mean the world if you would subscribe to this podcast, do the reviews, the rating, the stars, all of the things. Thank you so much for being here. I cannot wait to chat with you on the next episode. I'm sending you all of the vibes and all of the love. Over and out from Angharad, the High Vibe Babe.